think of Canada's biggest exports, you got your lumber, oil, hockey hair, and comedy. We're talking actors, producers, and comedy troupes that push the envelope. That's where the Kids in the Hall come in. The kids are some of the most influential comedic minds this country has ever had, and that's saying something. Dave Foley, of course, one of the kids. Born and bred in Toronto, Dave dropped out of high school, spent his time at Second City taking improv, and that's where, in 1982, he met Kevin McDonald. Eventually, Bruce McCullough, Mark McKinney, and some guy named Scott Thompson joined in, and by the mid-'80s, they were the Kids in the Hall. And it wasn't long until Lorne Michaels of Saturday Night Live put them on TV. They were on CBC here in Canada, HBO and CBS in the States, and had a serious cult following.
Good evening, Hecubus. Are you ready?
I am ready to serve you, Master, and Satan.
By 1994, the guys went their separate ways, and a year later, Dave started playing Dave Nelson, a straight-laced news director and closet Canadian on News Radio.
Okay, ever since I was 14, I've always fantasized about making love on the space shuttle.
Well, that's adorable, Dave.
With the space prostitute.
He also hit the big screen in movies like It's Pat, Brain Candy with his Kids in the Hall buddies, and A Bug's Life. If you saw Bug's Life, he was Flick the Ant.
Don't worry! The colony is in good hands!
Oh, also, South Park, the movie.
Ha ha! You missed me!
As for the kids, well, they've reunited for a few tours. Once at the celebration at Just for Laughs 2007, and they just wrapped up a North American tour for a new program called Live as Will Ever Be. Dave Foley.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
From the outside, how's it? You feel okay with that?
Yeah, I'm just checking. I'm assuming it's that I'm being stretched, that I'm not really that fat.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that camera's true, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I do that often. I'm like, really? What happened to me? The reunion. From the outside, it's one of those things. People want the Kids in the Hall to go back on the road together, but I suspect from your perspective, you're like, really? Do I want to do that again?
That definitely in 2000 when we talked about doing it, it was like that. We were all apprehensive, going, why do I really want to get in a room with these people I fought with for 20 years? Uh-huh. You know, because we were a very sort of a fractious group. But then we did the 2000 reunion, and then we all got along great and had a great time. And this one, it was particularly nice because we wrote a bunch of new material for it. In fact, the only reason we're on tour is because we got together and wrote a bunch of material, and we thought, well, it'd be fun to go out and perform.
Is it like a family where, no matter how old you are, when you all go back to the house for Thanksgiving, you all revert back to the same roles you had when you were 13?
Yes, but sadly, we all revert to the role of the abusive father.
That's gotta suck.
I know. It's a very unhealthy family.
And then I saw you guys at past summer at Just for Laughs, and you walked on stage, and the reaction. I didn't see the first reunion tour, but the reaction you got was bizarre. Comedians don't get that very often, where there's this sort of adoration, and I wondered how it felt from the other side.
It always feels great. I mean, it's really gratifying. I mean, and a little shocking that after all these years that people still, want to see us do stuff. And and I think there's that sense that because we were never a huge hit. I think people feel more sort of ownership of us, so it makes it maybe a closer bond between us and our audience than we would have had if we had actually made money.
Well, this is why you're supposed to do now is what Aerosmith does, right? They tour on all the old hits.
Yes.
Why are you wasting your time writing new material? Do the stuff in the dress.
I know. I know. That's the thing. We debated that. It was a big debate in the group, and I was one of the guys who was definitely in the let's not do any old stuff. No old characters, nothing old, everything new.
I wonder,
and we compromised.
As a musician, some musicians have a very complicated relationship with their biggest hit. And that they're like, they don't want to play that song again. Some just can't wait to play it again. I wondered for you if there was a hesitation to even do the Kids in the Hall thing again, because you were doing fine. You had done other stuff.
No, the thing is, we love being the Kids in the Hall. And when we get together, we love like right now, some of the best times I've had have been on this tour, like just on the bus after the shows, and we were just sitting around drinking and making fun of Scott.
The abusive father, that's what you're all playing?
Yeah, and but it's just like we have a real chemistry with each other that we don't have anywhere else. And, you know, and that is part of the joy of writing together is that we write things very fast and we never feel like we have to censor anything. And in performing, it's the same thing. We never feel like, you know, we can do anything we want. And we can take any risk we want on stage, and we know that everyone will go along with you. People aren't going to stare at you like you're crazy, you know, although you are.
You are, yeah. Sure. When you did the TV thing, did you have to do a lot of censorship?
We have very little censorship because we were on HBO at first. We used to do like an HBO version of everything and a CBC version. And then
I went to a taping once in Toronto when I was much younger. We were all young kids. You were doing your thing, and wow, it was way raunchier in the studio than the finished product.
Well, eventually though, like when we went from HBO to CBS in the States, the CBC, which was run by Yvonne Fassan at the time, created what they called adult prime, which was after 10 o'clock they didn't censor anything. So we could do our show, you know, we could swear all we wanted, have nudity, whatever we wanted after 10 p.m. So we always got to do at least one really dirty version of our show.
You hear about how stand-up comedy's changed over the years, right?
Yeah.
And there's always markers. You know, when Bill Hicks did what Bill Hicks, he changed things. When Pryor did what Pryor did, change things. Cosby, Louis C.K., even Carlin. And I wonder in sketch comedy, when you're doing sketch, has it evolved as well? Like, have there been markers?
Since obviously Python was a huge marker. That was a transition, akin to the Beatles, where
for sure,
after that everything was different. And
is that when you watched when you were a kid and you thought, I could do that?
Well, I never thought I could do that. I thought I was amazed by what they did. And then when we finally got to be comedians, it was always, we can't do that. We have to try to be as different from that as possible. Because out of love for what they did, we never wanted to. That's why our sketches all have endings.
That's right.
Yeah. I'd like to say that was also out of respect for Saturday Night Live, but that's not true.
Because in fact they didn't have endings.
No.
That's why they came up with Live from New York. That's the only way to get out of that stuff. In terms of acting and doing other stuff, you can voice animated. You were on an episode of Las Vegas, right?
Yes, I was.
You were, that's right, yes.
I know.
And you've done obviously news, radio. Dramatic acting, is that something that you look at and go, maybe because you do comedy very fine? Do you look at other things?
I like to work. I just like to act. It's fun to do. So most of my stuff's comedy, but I did From the Earth to the Moon, which isn't really comedy, which is like the Tom Hanks Apollo thing. And I don't know if I've done any other drama. No, this might be it. Right now is the most dramatic thing I think I've done.
Try crying. Do the crying thing.
I am crying.
You are crying?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been crying since I got out here. It's nice of you to finally notice.
I'm oblivious. I'm waiting for the jokes.
I can't wait for you to say, what's wrong?
I'm waiting for the jokes. I'm waiting for the jokes. Actually, it's good that you're sensitive and emotional at the very moment, because when we take a break, we're going to come back and do something that we've all been waiting for. Dave is going to help you. It's a self-help class, life advice with Mr. Dave Foley.
Oh, what a horrible idea.